If you want to book more calls from your cold traffic webinar, pay attention because I'm about to break down exactly how you can do this. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Brett. I run the email list for large people in the info space. Probably a lot of people you're already on their email list. Now, this is someone who I really love in the space. He's a phenomenal communicator. And if you don't know him, check him out. And what I did was I opted into his funnel to see what the masterclass would be like. And then I'm going over what he did well and what he can improve on. Obviously, I'm coming in from a user experience. I don't have the data and metrics on the back end. So I just need you to keep that in mind when I'm doing this. So first and foremost, the very first email confirmation, your masterclass link, let's go. This is a fine subject line. What's really good about this is that it's very clear. So I opt in, I know exactly what I'm going to. This is a little bit confusing, right? So what we do really well for our clients is that we actually have a calendar, like right here at the top. It's like click to add to your Google Calendar. So then they'll have an automatic reminder on their calendar. This was not in place for me. So obviously, it's a little bit hard. Also, I'm not a fan of Webinar Jam. I'm much more a fan of doing this over Zoom. But that is just my 2 cents. And so if this very first email, you had this, instead of add to calendar, literally, because you can do this, you have basically it's like a picture or a pop down of the Google Calendar invite that they can click on. That would be a lot more effective because once they click, the person will immediately have it, put on their calendar. Because this is, people still ignore this as an example. The very first email, doesn't need to be fancy, right? It just got right to the point. Now we are 1 hour away. This is fine. We like this again. This is cool. I like the photo. Deliverability wise, it might be going into the promo tab or spam folder to other people. I do like it does add personality to it, so I think it's fine. But again, I want that calendar link there because I will make sure it's on my calendar. I do like that this is here though, as an example, but when you add it to someone's calendar, they're going to get the Google invites reminders and the link will be in there as well. One of the big missed opportunities is that there's no personal emails coming to me from the sales team where it could be like, hey, just want to make sure you're good to go, want to make sure you're set up, want to make sure you have everything you need, trying to build a relationship with me ahead of time. That probably costs them a significant amount of money because the quicker you can get a hold of someone, the higher likelihood they're going to be to obviously show up and then buy. So it's like you have your automatic reminders and then you can have your personal reminders from the salespeople happening at the same time. So now this was just like the 3 right before the actual masterclass. And then we have the next step. So this is an okay subject line. It should be really about the outcome that the person wants, right? So for example, whatever your main offer is around, this needs to be what the subject line is. So open this if you want to shed 5 pounds before Thanksgiving, whatever that is, right? If that's fitness, or open this, if you want to become a profitable day trader before Halloween. Again, that's just very easy subject lines. Whatever that, either it's going towards going away from pain or going towards a benefit, that's what needs to be in here. And then you can be like the next steps to getting that outcome, right? Because then in this email, right, here's a replay, which is cool. I do like that is high up. I'm such a huge fan of putting links super high up. I would caution around having this in here for deliverability's sake. Again, I'm not in their back end. I can't tell you the percent of this got opened and clicked, but the more you have things like this in there, the higher likelihood it's going to go to the promo tab or spam folder. So the more HTML plain text you have, the better. So you can literally say, what we do is we say tap here to get replay, but we like to do a benefit sentence or avoiding pain. And then we just make that font larger. So for example, if this, right, let's say we were hyperlinking this, like this whole thing, we would just make this, instead of, let's say it's a 14, make it to a 16. So it stands out versus having this, just because the more you have things like this in there, the higher likelihood it could go to promo and spam, which obviously we're trying to avoid. It's a good recap email, kind of explaining what's going down. But the big thing for you is you have to remember people are coming to you on cold traffic as well, even if it's organic. He has a huge following, right? Over 3.86 million people. The problem though is that not everyone may know him at the same level as someone else knows him. So especially if this is your first watch replay, I don't know you kind of email, I need to know your story again. He does do it later on, but each email is so precious in regards to time. So I need to know your story. Now, this is a huge super hack that you can do to elevate your emails. What you do is after this email, you have a trigger in place for when someone opens. And what you do is in the PS, you say, PS, right now in your inbox, I sent you something special. Only watch it only open it after the replay. Number one, people are going to go and open it now. But the thing is, what it's doing is that now they'll get to the bottom of the email. I actually do it here too. Like I like to just like tease them a little bit with it. But now they know to go back into their inbox to go find that other message. So what's great is they go to the replay page to get the information, but they have this little teaser sentence here about, hey, in your inbox right now, I sent you the next step. And here, why this is so good is that what will happen is people check emails in bulk batches. So now they're going to go back and be like, oh shit, like what's that next thing I need to know? Versus if it's, if you do a daily email, people may not remember it because, there's so much time in between that has passed. So that's why it's so good to have it being triggered immediately, right? People are used to sending daily, sometimes twice a day on a follow-up, but literally have it in place the moment that they open. So then this would literally pop up next. And it would say, instead of this, I can't believe I'm sharing this photo with you, whatever that next thing is, overcoming an objection, help me get a quick win, whatever's helping me push towards buying needs to be that subject line of that next email. And being like, now they open that email, right? I'm on the next step. That next piece of information is moving me closer down the funnel, right? Let's say it's overcoming objection, personal story, testimonial, whatever it is. And then again, you tease them, by the way, I have the next thing for you, right? Of course, in that email itself, you have a link for them to go wherever, webinar, like replay or book a call. And you do that, you say, only after you do this, you go there. Now, the thing about the second email that is so critical is you send it to someone based on if they click. Because once they clicked on the first, in email number 2, once they click, you're able to tag them by that metric. And now people are clicking or higher intent in your sales process. Why this works so well is at the same time, you pull that list to all your setters and you say, hey man, these people just clicked on this email literally X amount of time ago. Go after them. And the setter says, hey, let's say it's to me. Hey, Brett, I just saw you click the link on this. I want to make sure you have this, right? So now you're having the automation hit them up and the setter hit them up, knowing that I'm highly intent because I keep clicking on stuff in a very fast iteration of time because the next email gets sent to them after they open or click the email, depending on your tag. That needs to be so solidified in your brain because it's like such a great hack for you to get amazing results in your post-webinar follow-up. Because again, the rest of these emails, they're fine, right? He is awesome. He's so good at what he does. But these tiny tweaks allow for a massive jump in opens and clicks. And again, I like this email. It builds trust, which is phenomenal. It's important. It has this, like it has a lot of social proof, which is great. But the link is way too far down. And so people skim, especially on mobile. This is going to be lost. Like the click-through rate could be higher if this was up versus at the bottom. And you have to make sure on the technical side, this is shrunk into tiny PNG. It doesn't actually mean the size of the image is shrunk. It just means it's not as heavy to send. This subject line is fine, right? It builds trust, but it's like, if the person doesn't know you, that doesn't have as high of an open rate as it could. For example, instead of being like, I can't believe I'm sharing this photo with you, it needs to be like about them. Everything needs to be about the person reading it. Like if you ever felt like this, open this. Like we wrote this email for a client that did phenomenal where it was like, the subject line was more around like, if you have a family this person was broken, right? Subject line was this person was broken when his wife showed him this photo. Or this person broke down when this wife showed him this photo. So the idea is you're like, oh my God, what is this photo? Like I need to see what it is. See how that's much more curiosity driven than I can't believe I'm sharing this photo with you because it doesn't have any context. You need to give the person context. And then the real reason you need to learn communication skills, like again, it needs to be more about like, this is what does really well. So when you start clicking, like people start to click, you can have a lot of fun with it because I'm sure you have people that are buying different ways from you. And so now the follow-up emails can be custom, right? So let's say as an example, you have people in 3 different ways, right? So that second email, like we said, and that follow-up has the person says, click here, right? Sorry, once they click, they get the next email that helps them on their journey. But imagine that next email, the follow-up is like, by the way, like here's different ways I can help you. Which one are you? They click one. And now let's say this email is now going to the A people, and then there's a B people and a C people. But what's so cool is that each email after that is hyper custom. So like instead of saying the real reason you learn communication, because you already know what the real reason is that they're trying to learn communication in this example, it becomes super custom to them. So it's like, again, I don't know, let's say it's like to get a job promotion. So now the subject line is like, it's like why this, like, it would be more like, this negotiating tactic will get you your next raise. Something like that needs to be compliant, obviously, but that feeds the A-level people that are trying to get a raise. The B-level people could be like for public speaking. The C-level people could be for better networking. And you see how each subject line is super curated with specific testimonials and stories versus trying to figure out how you can shape your email to fit everyone on there. You can have it sorted by tags. That's what makes it so brilliant with tags when you understand this on a deep level. So I love this stuff, as you can tell. This will change your webinar forever. Again, if you want to learn more about me, check out in the description how I help you. Like, I can help you craft high converting webinars, most importantly, book a ton of calls on it and afterwards, and work with some of the largest names in the space. Then if you are watching this, my man, I think your content is phenomenal and you're changing lives. This change can help you change even more lives, and I would love to be the person to help you do that. If you're just watching this and you're not, then shout out to you for sticking this long to watching it. Give me a like and subscribe. What I do is I break down big people in the space on how their emails can convert better, and I show you case studies on how we're doing it for our clients so you can implement it for yourself so you get the highest opens, clicks, and sales with your list.